Do you remember when Hillary Clinton, let me just put everything in perspective, showed up with that cheesy reset button? Do you remember that? For relations with Russia? Yeah, the media thought that was swell. And then do you remember when Bill Clinton took $500,000 from a Moscow-related entity, it was a bank, for a speech, and the media thought that was fine? And then do you remember when the the Clinton Foundation took $140 million in funds from that from the Russian-backed donors, and then turned around and gave them 20% of our uranium, and the media thought that was fine? And then do you remember when Barack Obama's administration lied to us about the whole thing and said, the uranium's never going to leave the U.S. That's just silly. And then we found out after Obama had left office that was a lie too, that it had been shipped to Europe and the Middle East and parts of Asia. Do you remember that? And the media thought it was fine. Media thought all that was fine. You remember when the media thought it was fine that the only actual factual collusion with the Russians that we know of was between Hillary's campaign, the DNC, to put the dossier together? I remember they paid that guy, Christopher Steele, to go get the dirt from the Russian government. Remember that? And the media thought it was fine. And then you remember when the FBI piggybacked and joined in on the collusion using that dossier to get the FISA warrant to spy on Trump's campaign, and the media thought that was fine. Only one person factually documented to ever have colluded with the Russians. That's Hillary, the leadership of the DNC, with cash. But then she had plenty of cash to spend, didn't she? Since we're looking at about, $140.5 million from the Russians? Do you remember when John Podesta, the chairman of Hillary's campaign, remember him? Was caught serving on the board of a Kremlin-financed, 100% Kremlin-financed shell company and taking millions in payments for serving on the board, and didn't disclose that as he was required to by law on his filing forms when he took the federal gig. Remember that? Yeah. That's her campaign manager. Can you imagine if one of Trump's campaign managers had done something like that? And the liberal media didn't care. Should I go on? I could for another 15 minutes. I'm just getting warmed up. The hypocrisy here is knee-deep, and what you can tell by what I just laid out in calm, rational, and factional terms is that they don't care about collusion with Russia. Mainstream media did not care back in 2012 when Putin was asked who he preferred for president. Not Trump or Hillary. Nope. Mitt or Obama. And Putin said Obama. Mitt had talked a lot of smack about the Russians, so Putin didn't want him. Seems logical to me. Was that outrageous? No, that wasn't outrageous. In fact, they didn't care at all. Can you imagine if Trump had been caught on hot mic yesterday when he thought the microphone was off, telling Putin, "Hey, relax, I can disarm America. You just got to give me, let me get past the midterms." Obama did that to Medvedev, the president of Russia. Did I tell Putin, I can do something? They were talking about disarmament, disarming the country. And the resulting deal they later cut disarmed this country, but allowed Russia to continue building up weapons. Can you imagine if Trump did that? He'd be impeached with the seal of approval of the Republican leadership. But the mainstream media didn't care. So you really think they care about Russia now? They don't care about Russia. They care about defeating Trump. Why are they all so obsessed with defeating Trump? Well, because they got to cover their own crimes. I mean, let's not forget the biggest crime of all. It's not the FISA warrant. It's not. It's the one nobody talks about because it's the biggest crime of all. Hundreds and hundreds of illegal accesses of the NSA FISA database. My emails are in there. Your emails are in there. My text. All of that. It's all in there. The FBI allowed its contractors to illegally access it again and again and again. Where did the data go? The final NSA report? Nobody knows. It was a violation of the law. FBI let it go on. Why? Where'd that information go? And the media didn't care. You remember that? Samantha Power, former ambassador to the UN under Obama, her name was used hundreds of times. Do you remember she was called before Congress? Closed door session, unfortunately. And asked, "Hey, listen, Sammy, do you access that? Because that'd be illegal for you to do without a purpose. I mean, you weren't part of an investigation." No, I didn't access it. Somebody else used my name. Oh, who? Oh, look, there's a squirrel. Never got to answer that question, did we? Where are congressmen screaming and demanding an answer? Where are they? They're nowhere. Because the answers would answer all of the questions that we have. And the story would be a very different one the media doesn't want you to hear. So I just want you to remember as they gnash their teeth, and cry, and whine, and say how very scared they are. What didn't scare them? I want you to remember that when Obama lied to them and to us, the uranium, it never left the country. Yeah, it did. Where's it now? We don't exactly know. We know it went through Europe and Asia. You know, the uranium that Hillary sold. The Russians, when they were lied to about that, they didn't care. Can you imagine if Trump gave them another 20% of our uranium and they donated $140 million to the Trump Foundation? Trump would be in prison in handcuffs because then they'd care.